Welcome to the Cenario podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Hey there, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. This one is especially for you, based on the source material you sent over about B vitamins and, well, how they connect to brain health.
That's right. It's interesting, we hear a lot about things like omega-3s, maybe antioxidants for the brain. But this material, it really makes a strong case for B vitamins. Call them unsung heroes.
Unsung heroes. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not the flashiest nutrients, but sounds like they're doing some pretty important work behind the scenes for your brain.
Definitely.
So our goal today, our mission, is to really unpack what these sources are saying. Why B vitamins matter so much. Which specific ones are like the key players for the brain. How you might even know if you're running a bit low and, what this all practically means for you.
And there's a pretty intriguing promise in the material, too. It suggests these vitamins influence how your brain actually functions, how it ages, even how it handles stress.
Wow. So potential boosts for mood, energy, maybe even protecting against cognitive decline down the line.
That's what the sources point towards, yeah.
Yeah.
Improved mood, better energy, and that protective element.
Okay. All right, let's get into it. The sources kick off with the basics. What exactly are B vitamins?
Right. So they're described as a group, 8 of them, and they're water-soluble nutrients.
Water-soluble. Okay.
Yeah. And their main job, generally speaking, is converting the food you eat into energy your body can actually use. They also help with DNA synthesis, and this is key for us today. They play a role in regulating brain chemicals, neurotransmitters.
Okay, so 8 of them. You've got B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, and B12. That's the whole family. But the material you share, it seems to really zoom in on 3.
It does. It specifically highlights B6, B9, which people might know as folate or folic acid, and B12, sometimes called cobalamin.
And why those 3 specifically?
Well, the material suggests these are the ones most critical, or at least the most researched, when it comes to brain health directly. While all B vitamins help with energy, these 3 seem to have the most significant impact on how your brain works day to day and long term.
Gotcha. So that's a really important distinction from the sources. It's not just general health, it's specific brain benefits tied to B6, B9, and B12.
Exactly.
All right, so if we know what they are and which ones are the stars for the brain, the next big question from the material has to be how? How do they actually, do all this? How do they support brain health?
Okay, yeah. The material breaks this down into about 3 main areas of impact. The first one is all about regulating your mood and helping with mental clarity.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier the sources link low levels of these key B vitamins, B6, B9, B12, to things like depression, that foggy feeling, fatigue. Is that just like an association, or does the material explain the mechanism, why they're so important for mood?
It does get into the why. It's pretty fascinating, actually. The sources say these vitamins are absolutely necessary for making key neurotransmitters. We're talking things like serotonin, dopamine, GABA.
Ah, the big ones for mood and feeling stable.
Exactly. They're the chemical messengers that control mood, emotions, just your overall mental state. So the idea is if you're low on the B vitamins needed to make them,
then the whole system gets kind of sluggish or out of whack.
Right. You don't have the building blocks, so the production line isn't working right.
And there was something specific about folate B9 in the material that really stood out to me on this point.
Oh, yeah. That was up.
It mentioned that folate deficiency is apparently so closely tied to mood issues that doctors often screen for it, especially in people maybe dealing with depression that's hard to treat.
Yes. That's a really telling detail from the sources.
Yeah.
It shows just how fundamental folate is believed to be for that chemical balance in the brain. When standard treatments aren't working as expected, checking folate levels is sometimes the next step.
That really underscores the connection. Okay, so mood and clarity is area 1. What's the second key area the material talks about?
The second one is about protecting against cognitive decline, sort of preserving brain function as we age.
And this involves something called homocysteine. Am I saying that right?
Homocysteine, yeah, you got it. It's an amino acid. The sources explain that B vitamins, again, especially B6, B9, and B12, are crucial for keeping homocysteine levels in check.
Why does that matter? What's the problem with high homocysteine?
Well, the research discussed in the material links elevated homocysteine levels to a higher risk of serious cognitive issues, like Alzheimer's disease and other types of dementia.
Okay, so high homocysteine equals bad news for the brain, potentially, and the B vitamins help keep it low.
That's the connection the sources draw. And it's not just theory. The material brought up a specific study finding that really caught my eye, too.
Was it that 2010 study in PLOS1?
That's the one. This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Tell us, what did it find?
So this study looked at older adults with mild cognitive impairment. They gave one group a B-complex supplement, B6, B9, B12, and another group a placebo. After 2 years, get this, the group taking the B vitamins had 30% less brain shrinkage than the placebo group.
30%. That sounds huge. Less brain shrinkage.
It's a striking figure, isn't it? Brain shrinkage, or atrophy, is a physical sign often associated with cognitive decline. So while we know these vitamins lower homocysteine, this study suggests they might have a more direct, sort of protective effect on the brain's actual structure or volume over time.
Wow. Okay, that's definitely compelling. So, mood, cognitive protection. What's the third area the sources cover?
The third one is about improving energy and focus.
Ah, okay. This ties back to what you said earlier about converting food to energy.
Exactly. It comes back to that fundamental role. B vitamins are absolutely critical for turning carbohydrates, the sugars and starches you eat, into glucose. And glucose is the brain's main preferred fuel source.
So it's like they're making sure the brain's gas tank gets filled properly.
That's a good way to put it. And if your body isn't doing that conversion efficiently because you're low on B vitamins,
Right.
well, it makes sense you'd feel it.
How does that manifest? What did the sources say?
They note that being low, particularly in B12 or maybe B1, can lead to feeling just constantly tired, mentally slow, maybe irritable. It's like your brain is running on fumes, basically.
Yeah, that low battery feeling makes total sense.
Right. And the sources also mention, kind of anecdotally, that people who need sustained energy and focus, think athletes, maybe people in really high-stress jobs, often use B vitamin supplements to support their energy metabolism.
Yeah.
Especially during stressful times, because stress itself seems to burn through B vitamins faster.
Okay, that's interesting. Stress uses them up more quickly. We should come back to that.
Definitely.
So, given how vital these vitamins are for mood, cognition, energy, how would someone know if they might be deficient? What kind of symptoms did the sources flag?
Yeah, the material lists a few common signs to be aware of. Things like chronic fatigue, just feeling drained all the time.
Okay.
Trouble with memory or concentrating, so brain fog again. Also irritability, mood swings, or even persistent feelings of anxiety or depression.
And wasn't there a physical symptom mentioned too, specifically for B12?
Yes, good catch. Tingling or numbness, often in the hands and feet. That's highlighted as a fairly common sign of B12 deficiency specifically.
The thing is, a lot of those symptoms, fatigue, mood changes, trouble concentrating, they overlap with so many other things, right? Just being stressed, not sleeping well, other health issues.
Absolutely. And that's a really critical point the sources hammer home. Because the symptoms are so nonspecific, you really can't self-diagnose based on just feeling tired or foggy.
So what's the recommendation then?
Testing. The material strongly emphasizes talking to a doctor and getting blood tests done to check your actual levels, especially for B12 and folate, rather than just guessing or starting supplements blindly.
Okay, testing is key. Makes sense. Now, before we talk about who might need more, where do we actually get these B vitamins from in the first place? According to the sources, what should we be eating?
Food first, definitely. The sources encourage getting them from your diet primarily, and they list examples for each one.
Right. I remember seeing things like whole grains, legumes, sunflower seeds for B1, eggs, lean meats, almonds for B2, poultry, peanuts, brown rice for B3.
Then B5 in avocados, mushrooms, broccoli, B6 in bananas, potatoes, spinach, B7 in eggs, salmon, sweet potatoes.
And B9, the folate in leafy greens like spinach, also legumes, citrus fruits.
Exactly. Lots of plant sources for most of them. But then there's B12. The material makes a really crucial distinction here.
What's that?
It states that B12 is found almost exclusively in animal products. So meat, fish, poultry, dairy, eggs.
Ah, okay. So not really in plant foods naturally. That's a big deal for certain diets.
It's a very important point, yeah. Which leads into the discussion about supplementation. If your diet doesn't provide enough, maybe it's restricted, or if you have those mental health symptoms we discussed,
Right.
then the sources suggest a good quality B-complex supplement can help fill the gaps. Particularly, they mentioned for B12 and folate, supplementation might be worth considering in those cases.
So diet first, but supplements are a tool, especially if levels are low or needs are higher.
Yes, it's presented as a potential strategy, especially for certain groups that the material identifies as potentially needing more B vitamins or having trouble absorbing them.
Okay, let's talk about those groups. Who specifically should be paying closer attention to their B vitamin intake according to this material?
The sources highlight a few categories. First off, based on what we just discussed about B12 sources, vegans and vegetarians.
Makes perfect sense if B12 is mainly in animal foods and you don't eat those.
Exactly, you have to be really intentional about getting B12 from fortified foods or supplements. The sources stress that.
Okay, who else?
They also suggest that people experiencing depression or anxiety might have higher needs, possibly because their brains are using up more B vitamins in the process of trying to regulate neurotransmitters.
Huh. So the condition itself might increase the demand. Interesting.
It's a potential link they raise. Then there are older adults. As people get older, their ability to absorb B12 from food can decrease. Often this is due to having less stomach acid, which is needed to release B12 from food proteins.
Okay, so absorption issues can come with age.
Right. And finally, the one we touched on earlier, people under chronic stress. The material points out that ongoing stress revs up your metabolism.
Like your body's engine is running hotter.
Kind of, yeah. And that increased metabolic demand means you burn through nutrients, including those crucial B vitamins, more quickly.
So chronic stress isn't just mentally draining, it's potentially physically depleting your B vitamin stores.
That's the implication for the sources.
Yeah.
And for all these groups, vegans, vegetarians, those with mood disorders, older adults, the chronically stressed the material suggests that ensuring adequate B vitamin intake, possibly needing supplementation, might be really important. Not just helpful, but potentially necessary for supporting their brain health and overall well-being.
Wow. Okay, so let's try and pull this all together then.
Yeah, I mean, the big takeaway from the material you shared is pretty clear. B vitamins are definitely not minor players. They seem truly foundational for a healthy, well-functioning brain.
Yeah, they're not just nice to have. They're like the engine crew keeping critical mental processes running, influencing mood, energy, focus, and potentially protecting the brain long term.
Right, and addressing a deficiency, especially in those key ones, B6, B9, B12, could, according to these sources, make a noticeable difference if you're dealing with that persistent fatigue or low mood or focus issues.
It really shifts the perspective. These aren't just vitamins for general energy. They're deeply involved in brain chemistry and structure.
And the sources position them as part of a bigger picture, of course, part of a holistic approach. But optimizing your B vitamin status could be a significant piece of the puzzle for restoring, mental clarity, stability, that feeling of vitality.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? How seemingly small things in our diet can have such a profound impact on something as complex as our brain and mind.
Absolutely.
So, for you listening, here's maybe a final thought to chew on, drawn right from this material. Given what we've heard about how chronic stress ramps up your body's need for B vitamins and directly hits your energy and focus, how might really understanding that link change how you think about managing stress? Or maybe how important does getting tested for deficiencies now seem, especially knowing how much the symptoms overlap with just feeling stressed or tired?
It definitely adds another important layer to consider when thinking about brain health and mental well-being.
It really does. Well, thanks for sharing this material with us, and thanks for joining this deep dive into B vitamins in the brain. We hope this gave you some really valuable insights.
Thanks for tuning in to the Cenario podcast. Don't forget to visit Cenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.